Okay, this video is called Reading on a Treadmill, and what this is about is I found myself more and more walking on treadmills and reading while I'm on the treadmill. And at first I would just go a couple miles or I'd warm up before I lift weights, but what I'm finding is a lot of times I like it for reading and I'll go farther and farther on it. So, there's an old joke by Voltaire. He says, "Why do animals have brains but plants do not? Because animals move." And so what's the purpose of the human brain? You can walk down a path in a forest, a jungle, or a prairie and survive. In order to walk down a path, you've got to make a value judgment about what you choose as your destination. You have to navigate your path there, choose the best path, avoid obstacles in your path, be alert for predators. So your brain has to be working at a high level to navigate these environments. And you have to memorize and understand your environment quickly in order to survive. So you got to be alert. And that helps you when you're reading. So I just read with a pen in my hand, and I'm reading the book on the treadmill. I mark up the book. I dog ear, fold over the corner of the page. If it's a great page, I'll even fold the whole page over. Make sure I come back to it. I'll summarize the book in the back with writing. What I'm finding in the book, what the page number is, so I can go back to it later. Because my first read through a book, what I'm looking is to see, is there any useful information here? And then I'll sort of index it to the back page. Check page 30, check page 50, check page 75. And then I'll go back to it later and I'll see, is this worth adding, to my information file on some other topic that I'm studying? And I'll find that I can walk on a treadmill for, 2 hours straight and read and concentrate the whole time. So I get a lot of reading done. I've blown through entire books in 4 to 6 hours. And I like it because I'm getting some exercise and I'm getting reading. I used to walk in circles or I'd walk outdoors. In my new living situation, it's harder to walk outdoors, so I go to the gym and I find that I like walking for a couple hours. I routinely walk 6.5, 7 miles, and I can get a lot of reading done. I get some exercise. It's nice. I'm usually going about 3.5 miles per hour in terms of speed. I find that my concentration is improved. Like a typical day off. Let's say I have a work day. I get up early, post a couple videos, reruns in the morning, go to work. On a day off, what I do is I'll do the same thing first, post a couple videos, reruns, but then I'll usually be writing a book chapter, and I'll crank on the book chapter until anywhere from, about 1:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on how alert and energized and much fun I'm having. Then I go and exercise, and I find that I'm starting to fade out a little bit late in the afternoon. I can't concentrate as effectively. So I go on the treadmill though, and it's like my concentration comes back. So when you're tired, your IQ starts dropping, your concentration is dropping, but you get on the treadmill, it comes right back, and I read really complex books on there. I'll read biochemistry books, I'll read complex science, nutrition books, and I can plow through them. So it helps me to concentrate. I like that. I'm currently reading this 550-page book on the biochemistry of cancer, and I find I could read it on the treadmill. If I try reading it in the bathroom, it's kind of slow going. I get through it, but it's slow going. When I do it on the treadmill, I very quickly go through tons of pages in those 2 hours, marking it all up. And I don't know, I'm finding I can plow through a lot of books. I'm real happy about this because it's a new way for me to get a lot of reading done that I previously wasn't doing, so I'm liking it. It's a good way to get a lot of reading done. So that's basically it. One last thing I'd say is the life cycle of the sea squirt. When it's juvenile, it swims all over the place. It looks like a little tadpole and it has a brain. In its adult phase, the sea squirt attaches to a rock, becomes a filter feeder. Its brain is reabsorbed. You don't need a brain if you just sit in one place, like watching TV. Anyways, that's it. Reading on the treadmill.